What's up, guys? It's me, Tim, here. I got special guest, 𝐼𝐞'𝐫𝐞. What's up, brother?
What's going on, my man? How we doing?
Not much, man. So, yeah, Sean, man, I'm excited about the summit. Last year, you really crushed it.
Yeah, dude, that was an awesome event, man. The venue was great. The people were amazing. Like the energy there. I spoke at a lot of events last year, and I remember that event specifically really stood out. The energy was so good. The people were hungry to learn, to level up, to grow, and it was just that right combination.
Yeah, I don't know how many people told me that your speech changed your life, so it was killer, man.
That's the goal, man. I always want to use my background and my story to get people's eyes to open up and their ears to open up, right? And to listen. And then I can interject some of the coaching principles and the things that I teach my clients. And I just found, that I went through some crazy stuff, man, that really helped me put things in perspective. And ever since then, I've wanted to pass on those lessons to other people, whether it's parents, whether it's someone trying to lose weight and get in shape or get sober, or business owners. We deal with a lot of the same issues, Tim. It's all up here. It's in our mindset. It's in our psychology. Yeah. Once you figure that out, dude, nothing's going to freaking stop you in life.
People don't realize how important mindset actually is, because a lot of times we look at all the tactical stuff, but we completely ignore the mindset part of it.
Yeah, it's key. I mean, let's go talk to some business owners who are in a seasonal business or who have been in a slow month or quarter or year of business. Yeah, the tactical stuff's important, but how do you handle that stress? How do you handle that pressure? Are you drinking? Are you freaking being a jerk around your family? Or are you able to lean into that experience and grow through it? Because it's inevitable. We're going to face stress. There's adversity. And dude, my adversity was so extreme that for me, it was survival. So a lot of the things I teach, I had to develop in my mindset just to be able to get through a day or a week or a month of my life, And so the way you think is everything. The way you think is reflected in all your results in your life. And if you can develop the right mindset, like I said, you're going to be able to weather storms, but also reach a much higher place in your life long term.
No doubt. I forgot to say it. If you guys drop the comment "grow" in the comments, we're going to be giving out a Gutter Summit ticket. I'll probably announce it tomorrow. And I'm probably going to say this a couple times in case some of you guys are just hopping on. But no doubt, man. You nailed on the head. For those that don't know a little bit about your background story, do you want to go ahead and touch on that a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely. I was curious because I spoke last year at the Gutter Summit. I'm speaking again this year. I'm fired up, dude, by the way. I'm curious, how many people do you think are going to be there this year from last year?
We're going to pack it out. I know last year we sold out. I think that it's going to be hard for us to fit more than about 275 people in there. So we're kind of tapped out about that, and that's probably what will happen.
Yeah, a lot of returning attendees, though. You think you're going to get some new people in those seats?
I think there's a lot of new people this year. I mean, we definitely have people returning, but last year, that was our first one, right? And so, a lot of people didn't know. I really appreciate everyone that did come last year because they were really betting on us because we had no proof of concept. We had never done it before. So I think that we nailed it. I'm pretty happy with how it went. And
yeah, you, Grant, and John, you guys did, man. You put your heart and soul into it. And the reason I ask is because I would share my story because I want to get people's attention. Like I said, and I want to be able to speak from a place that's authentic and where everyone knows where I come from and what I went through, because I talk a lot about mindset and habits, but how many times do you guys turn on social media and hear the same shit? Oh, you got to be disciplined. Oh, you need the right habits. Yeah, we know that. But I want to take it a step further. Why? Why does that matter? Why does that even matter? If I can get people to think on a deeper level about who's going to be impacted by their decisions, what do they want to reflect on at the end of their lives? Why does that matter? What is this for? Why are you building the business? Why are you showing up at this conference? That's the goal right there. Because I want everyone to leave with a shift in their perspective. I want them to have that aha moment where they take my story or my message, but they start looking within themselves, right? So that's what happened to me, you guys. I was a 23-year-old kid with no direction and no goals. And I was reflecting on this yesterday. I was like, damn, dude, when I was 23, I had no ambition. Fucking no ambition, dude.
Hard to imagine you with no ambition.
I know, it's crazy. I wanted to just drink, party, and chase girls. And I was climbing trees and cutting trees down from my uncle's company, doing manual labor. I liked that because there was camaraderie there. I liked working with my hands. I liked being around my family. I was making a little money, but for me at that time, Money wasn't a driving force for me. Like I had no long-term goals. And it's because I was just numbing myself with drugs and alcohol every day. And that was like my world, was just getting high and partying and living that lifestyle. And ultimately, those choices led me to sitting in a jail cell facing life in prison at 23. Now, I didn't even commit the crime that I was accused of. I was charged with attempted murder for a fight at a party that turned into an assault with weapons. It was crazy. It was something out of a book, a movie, something, Tim, that you never think you would ever experience. Like, for me to look back and realize that actually happened to me and that was my life, it almost seems surreal because it was so
Crazy.
It was so crazy, man. But what happened is I finally got time to actually think and reflect on my life and who I'd become. And I think most people, that never happens to them until you're on your deathbed and you're dying. And I think there's a lot of people that wish that they lived life differently, or they're praying to God for a do-over, and they're not going to freaking get it, as far as I know. And that's what happened to me in my jail cell. I started thinking about my whole life and all the things that I wanted to do that I didn't do, all the changes that I'd wanted to make that I had procrastinated on, all the excuses, all the fear, all the doubt. I was worried about what other people were going to think or say about me. And so the craziest thing about human beings is we're going to stay stuck in a life that we don't love, doing things that aren't serving us, around people that we don't even like, or going to a job that is unfulfilling, versus change, because change for humans is very difficult. There's uncertainty. There's all those fears that I described earlier. What if it doesn't work out? What are my parents going to think? What are my friends going to say? What if I fail? What if I'm not good enough? And so instead of going out into that unknown and facing that test, people will keep themselves stuck in a life that doesn't serve them. That's 99% of people on the planet, at least in developed countries where there's opportunity, right?
Yeah.
And so that was me. That was me for 10 years of my life. And when I sat in my cell and reflected on that truth, I realized, holy shit, man, I never showed anybody what I was capable of. I never really put myself out there and tried and went after the things that are meaningful to me. And it broke me, dude. It broke my heart because I had so much regret, thinking that was my one shot at life and I wasted it. You know, and in that moment, dude, I got fired up. Instead of continuing to act like a victim, continuing to make excuses, I got pissed off and angry. And I said, you know what? I'm going to use this as a turning point in my life. This is a catalyst. This isn't the end of the road for me. I don't care how much time I spend in prison, what happens to me. I got to do this for myself. And I made a commitment, man, that I was going to just live a life to the best of my ability, that I was going to strive for excellence in everything I did. I wasn't going to let any fear, any doubt stop me. And I was just going to go for it, man, whatever that looked like. And I committed to a life of sobriety and just pushing myself to do everything to the best of my ability. And that took me and carried me through my time of incarceration. I spent 5.5 years. And ultimately, I got out knowing in my heart that I was capable of great things in my life. Because if I can get through that time in prison and develop the right mindset and the right habits and stay consistent and stay out of trouble and develop the discipline, all the stuff that I did, I could do anything I set my mind to out here. And so I came out with ambition, with purpose, with drive. Now I'm 5 years sober. Now I'm 5 years. I have 5 years of discipline, 5 years of confidence. Like, I had a foundation by that point. And I just started setting my sights on goals pertaining to family, business, coaching, impact, everything that we want to achieve in life. And I fucking went after it, man. My life depended on it. Like, I don't waste a second still to this day. And it's all because of the pain that I felt in my cell. And this is why, like, drugs and alcohol, even drinks every once in a while, or food for a lot of people, or phones. Everyone's addicted to their phones. This is why these things are so detrimental, because it pulls you away from being present in the moment and feeling what you need to feel to make meaningful change, right? Everyone's distracted. No one self-reflects. No one thinks about their life. No one analyzes what they're doing, right? And then on the other side, like, the other element is people are just held back by fear and doubt and perceived limitations. So prison gave me the opportunity, man, to see life from a whole different vantage point. And I've never been the same since.
Let me ask you, I mean, that's something horrible to happen, especially since, like, you didn't do it. So do you regret that happened, or, like, you're glad that it happened because it gave you the chance to change?
Yeah, I'm super grateful, man. Like, even in the midst of it, I started recognizing that it was a blessing in disguise, because my life was so despairing before jail. Like, it was a series of just, like, I was like living in a war zone, dude, of drug addicts, of violence, of, like, people going to jail, of losing loved ones. Yeah, I was working and making money, and, like, on the surface, people thought my life was decent, but I was a broken and wrecked individual. I lost both my parents at a young age. family members dying, friends dying, just like so much chaos, right?
Yeah.
And when I got locked up, dude, honestly, it was kind of a relief. I was like, damn, I could just like get away from all that toxicity and kind of just try to figure out who the fuck I am as a person and who I want to be. Like,
Yeah.
when they say like, oh, he had to go find himself or she has to find herself. Like, what does that even mean, right? Well, what it means is like, I gotta think about what's important to me and get clear on who I am. A lot of people are so distracted and consumed in life, they don't get that opportunity. So, dude, if I didn't go through that experience, I would be dead right now, without a doubt. And at the very best, I'd be living a life that was just mediocre at best, where I was still struggling and afflicted by my addiction, my trauma in the past, because I wasn't willing to accept it and face it. And that's what kept me stuck. So, yeah, man, it was a blessing. That small amount of time, 5 years, gave me the ability to live the rest of my life the way I always wanted to.
How long did it take you after being in there before it snapped and you're like, I got to change?
Like the first couple months, we were still getting high. We were fighting. We were doing all the stuff you do in jail. I actually picked up an assault charge in there, and it was referred to the DA. And I remember I got this pink slip. The officers like passing out mail every day, and mine was a pink slip, like a referral to the district attorney. And I remember thinking, damn, dude, like I'm doing the same stuff in here that got me in trouble out there. Like I didn't commit the crime they accused me of, but growing up, we would go to parties and fight. Like we were young men, full of testosterone, full of liquid courage. Like we would go out and be reckless, and I never was a bad person, but I was a reckless person. And so then when you get in jail, it's the same stuff. Guys doing drugs, guys politicking on each other, guys fighting. It's all that stuff. That whole world is just not where you want to be. And you're participating because you kind of are somewhat forced to. And I found myself doing the same stuff. And I'm like, dude, like I have to change. Like that's when I realized I have to change. They're not going to change. The system's not going to change. I have to change. And that's like a lot of people out here, they're like hoping a new president's going to change the world, a new politics, new economy, cryptocurrency. Dude, you guys, things will change. There will be variables over time, but you have to be the change. You have to be the person that transforms everything in your world. No one else is going to do it for you. And I remember, dude, after I got in a couple fights in jail, I was sitting in this isolation cell where you never leave. You're in there 24/7. Every like 3 days, they let you out to shower. The cell's so tiny. You can touch both walls at the same time, You're not seeing sunlight. You're not seeing loved ones. You're starving. You're miserable. And I was coming off of all these drugs that we were doing. And I hadn't slept for a couple of days. We were partying, dude. Like people bring stuff in there. And it just hit me. I'm looking at this mirror, man. And I can't even recognize myself. The mirror's all scratched up, but I just looked all tore up. And I was like looking at myself from a third party perspective almost, I was like, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing? I get chills right now thinking of it because it was an epiphany for me. I was like, you're doing this to yourself. You're doing the same stuff in here that you were doing out there. And your life's on the line. What are you doing, Sean? And in that moment, dude, I just started to get a lot of clarity around who I wanted to be. And I drew a hard line in the sand, man. And I really made commitments. Like, a lot of people say they want to change, but they're not willing to commit for the rest of their lives. In that moment, I said, I'm going to live on this side of that line for the rest of my life. I know where this side gets me in those decisions. I can't do that anymore, And I just committed to being my best version of myself in every way imaginable, a life of sobriety, a life where I'm all in on a higher calling, on a better version of myself. So it was like 2 or 3 months in when I made that mental shift. But then from there, it was a daily process of actually doing the work. And dude, I was coming off of like all these drugs and all this stuff when I got locked up. So I was still recovering from that. And I remember the first couple of days doing burpees in my cell and working out. I'm just dying there. I'm pouring sweat. I'm exhausted, but I'd fight through that workout, and then I'd go sit on my rack and I'd read my book and I started like working on my mind and educating myself. And so all of a sudden in that 8-month span that I was in that isolation cell fighting my case before I went to prison, I went through a massive transformation. By the time they sentenced me to prison, I was fucking like, let's go. Like, I'm gonna go into this 5 years with the most optimistic, positive mindset. I'm gonna do everything in my power to improve myself every second I get. And I'm coming out of these gates the best version of myself. And if I can do that, I can do anything I set my mind to.
And you were in an atmosphere where probably most people weren't doing that. So you ended up kind of having to be a leader, right?
Yeah. I mean, like probably 1 out of every like 1,000, 5,000, 10,000 guys had the same attitude as I did. I probably met a handful of people while I was there that I could actually have a conversation with, and that they were wanting to do better in their lives and they had the right attitude. A lot of the guys that ended up gravitating towards me wanted to change, but they didn't know how to change. And they saw me working out every day, reading books, taking college courses. Like I was just a machine in there. And they were almost dumbfounded. You know, they'd come up to me and they go like, dude, what are you doing? Why are you doing all this stuff? Like, do you have a plan for when you get out? Do you have a job waiting for you? You know, they thought like I had this sure thing waiting for me. I go, no, man, I'm just trying to make these days count. And I started taking these younger guys and even guys my age or older under my wing, and we'd work out together, you know, and I'd start helping them to develop that grit, that discipline, and channel frustrations or whatever they had going on into those workouts to use it for good. And then I started giving them books to read and showing them the college courses I was taking. And that's like 3 years in, man, is when I really started to understand, wow, I can help people. I'm impacting these guys in here and helping them change. And they're in the worst environment you could ever imagine. And these are some of like the worst people, meaning, you know, like distorted thought processes, you know, certain beliefs that don't serve them, a track record, a history of not doing the right thing, you know?
Yeah.
I realized if these guys could change, I could freaking help anyone change. Like these are the worst of the worst. This is where society sends the worst of the worst. And some of these guys, just like me, made bad choices, or they come from a family where certain things were like glorified. They went down that path, and they're not necessarily horrible human beings. They're just made a lot of bad choices, you know?
Yep.
But that's when I realized I want to be a coach. I want to change lives. Like I knew in that moment, man, like that was my calling. That's what I'm supposed to do. I'm a leader. I can help people. And now I can use my real life experience to serve them at the highest level. And so by the time I got out of prison, I knew that I was going to come out and make an impact on the world. That was my number one goal and focus.
People don't realize, but you know, working on yourself personally is like the best way that you could, you know, impact all your loved ones or people around you. Like it doesn't come from trying to change them. It comes from trying to change yourself.
Yeah. I mean, it's crazy that people don't even understand that, you know, like, do you want to be happy all the time or happy sometimes around your loved ones? Do you want to have energy kind of sometimes or all the time around your loved ones? Do you want to be positive and optimistic sometimes or all like, you want to be the best fucking version of yourself every day if you can, right? Well, don't get up out of bed and just hoping that happens. That's rolling the dice. You don't know. Have a regimented plan and routines that pull that version out of you every day. That's what I learned in jail. Dude, in jail, everything's magnified. So like depression out here is nothing. In jail, it's like you want to hang yourself, right?
Yeah.
Like, oh, craving substance out here. Okay, yeah, there's temptation. But in there, it's like, dude, you're battling such extremes that the emotions and that all your like everything's heightened. You know what I mean? So I'd get up and I'd have all these negative thoughts and like, dude, you miss your loved ones. You're hungry. Like the officers were just tearing up your cell. Like there was just a fight over here. Like you're locked down, pepper spray, like just all this crazy stuff, you know? And so I found that my daily routines became like my armor. That was like my daily process to get my energy right, my mindset right. And I could go through my days being more positive, more focused, and having more faith and hope for the future. And sometimes that's like the best you can do, right? You do everything to the best of your ability that day to improve. But the same thing goes for out here. Like people just wake up and hope they're going to be motivated, hope they're going to be happy, hope that's going to be a good day. Dude, I demand it to be a good day. And don't accept anything less. That means I'm going to get up and do the work on myself that's going to make me feel proud of myself. It's going to enliven me. I'm going to have more passion, more energy. I'm going to feel good about the way I'm living so that I can carry that into all my relationships. And I used to say this all the time. Personal development creates professional success. But actually, I changed that term, right? I thought about this the other day. I thought, you know, like there's some people that have professional success who don't really work on themselves. Like a lot of them reach out to me for coaching because they've neglected their health for so long. So you can have professional success, financial success without working on yourself all the time. What I think, though, personal development creates real success. There's a big difference there because if you have a bunch of money in your bank account, and I don't care how successful your business is, but you're fat and out of shape or unhealthy, or you're a jerk around your kids, or you're not a present father, you're not successful at all. You're successful in one minute area of life. What I want is I want to win in all areas of life at the highest level possible. I want to be the best dad, best husband, best coach, best speaker. best everything. And that only happens if I'm working on becoming the best version of myself every day, you know? So, dude, like personal development is the key to building so many relationships over time, developing skill sets, building that confidence inside yourself so that you create more opportunities in life by who you've become.
You know, I forgot to tell you, I've quit alcohol now for like 5 months. You helped inspire me on that. But I was never an alcoholic, but even like, you know, a couple times a month's not even worth it.
Yeah, I mean, anytime you drink, it's gonna like, here's the thing. Can some people drink every once in a while and still have a good life? Yeah, a lot of people do it. I don't want just a good life. I want the most extraordinary life possible. And for me, I'm pretty extreme. Like I go all in on things, and that's how I was when I was younger with drugs and alcohol, and that's how I'm now with health, fitness, business, everything I'm doing. I would never in a million years trade my old life for my new life, not even for one drink, 1 hour, one occasion. Like for me to drink and smoke or do any of that stuff would be a downgrade to how I feel. Most people drink because they want to upgrade how they feel. Like for me to drink right now would downgrade how I feel. I feel so amazing. I'm so proud of myself for all that I've done. I'm so grateful for my family. I'm so blessed to have the second chance at life. You know, I feel like to go back and do any of that old stuff is like disrespecting God and the second chance that I've been blessed. That's the way I think about it, you know? And like, it's almost like this scenario took place, man, where I was in my cell and God showed me the truth about who I could have been versus who I'd settled for. And in that moment, I had to feel all the pain and all the emotion behind those choices. And it broke me down, dude, to such a low point. And then it was like, hey, God was like, hey, I'm going to give you a second chance, but you got to listen to me this time. That's the way I interpreted it, man. And I don't take this stuff like it's not a freaking joke for me. It's not like, oh, I just want to get on social media and post content or get on stage and get paid and da 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 da. No, like this journey is so personal to me still to this day. And the lives I get to touch and the lives that I get to change, like it's all a reflection of that moment where I had that clarity and I was like, damn, like I didn't listen before, you know, and this time I'm gonna listen. My life depends on it. And Tim, that's why I've been blessed with everything I have. Like we just had our 4th child, me and my wife 4 months ago.
Congratulations.
Bro, I'm so blessed. I look at
I got 4 too.
dude, I look at my young kids and I'm like, man, like I prayed for them. Like I envisioned having these moments. And as a kid, I didn't have the dad I needed. My mom was tore up, and like I know that pain. And so I get so grateful to do right by them and to be the leader that they deserve and to give them the best life possible, you know, and to teach them and to spend time with them and to do all those meaningful things. Like all this means so much to me, man. So like everything I teach and speak about, it comes from a place of knowing that pain and wanting to succeed and overcome it, and then wanting to see that in everybody else as well.
One more time, guys. If you haven't dropped the word grow, we're going to be giving away a Gutter Summit ticket, and you got a comment for it.
Let's go. Who really wants to grow, though? Come on now.
If you got any questions, you know, hit us up in the comments. Let's ask Sean something.
Yeah, I see some people in the comments earlier. If you guys have questions about anything related to mindset, fitness, health, how it transitions into business, I'm sure everyone's attending because they want to grow their business, make more money, have something that's more stable and sustainable, be able to take care of your families, right? We all want that. I want you guys to win at the highest level. So ask me any questions you guys have, and I can't wait to meet you in person at the event as well.
Sean, I jumped on your program with the vitamins and stuff. My hair grew back, bro.
Dude, when I saw that post, I was like, wow, it's incredible when you start optimizing your health. Like, what happens? You get your hair back, right? You get your life back. But I thought that was one of the coolest testimonials we've seen. And, you know, that's why I partnered with Dr. J about a year ago, because of the work he was doing. And like me combining my mindset, my background in fitness and personal development, and then his expertise as a doctor doing blood work and supplementation, we've been able to create such an amazing program for people. I've gotten guys who were close to having heart attacks and didn't even know it, right? And helping save their lives and change their lives. Or your situation where you were balding, now your hair's growing back. Like it's crazy because when he does the blood work and he can see really what's taking place inside each individual, then you get a custom plan to improve your health. That right there has been one of the most life-changing things I've personally done as well, is work with him. So
I mean, the hair thing was cool. Like it bothered me, so it's cool. But the thing is, it really helped me is I have way more mental energy now. And so like I'll read 2 or 3 hours a day starting early in the morning. And I just didn't have the mental capacity to do that before. I've always been a reader, but I just have way more mental energy now. And it's like it's getting me through the day. I got more energy. I feel better. I'm working out. But if I didn't start paying attention to that, so that's really going to translate in business.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Like when you have brain fog or mental just fatigue, by 2 o'clock, people are burnt out. And a lot of it has to do with the food they're eating, lack of hydration. But then also, most people are really deficient in nutrients and they don't even realize it, or their hormones are all effed up and they don't even realize it. So that's like why we work with business owners predominantly, because they're the ones making all the decisions. They're the ones that have all the stress. They're the ones that are required to do more and be more. And they're the ones that become depleted over time and start to just burn out. The coolest thing is being able to like give you extra energy, give you mental bandwidth, right? Like give you the process to cultivate that within yourself, because that's how you're going to perform better. Like you reading more every day now, watch how that changes your life in 5 years or 3 years. The ideas you'll get, maybe the new business ventures or relationships or things you'll do. Like when you have more energy and the ability to focus more, you can get way more done. And that's how you can make more of each day. And that compounds over time.
And you don't even realize that you're not running 100%. Like I was probably running 50%, but it was my normal. It was just normal to me. So I didn't even realize like how much better I could feel.
Yeah, that's one of the things Dr. J told me when I first met him. He goes, "Hey, I know you're driven and motivated, Sean, but you've just normalized that level you're at. There's another level for you." And I'm like, "What do you mean?" He goes, "Oh, energy, focus, sleep, recovery, everything will improve when you improve your health." And we're talking about on a cellular level, because your cells affect everything.
Yeah.
So I've been doing the work with him for the last year. First thing he helped me do is heal my leaky gut, which I had. I didn't realize that. I made some adjustments to nutrition because of that, cut out a lot of gluten. He helped me to get my nutrient absorption levels higher. So like the daily multivitamins he's providing, which are super high quality, they're actually working. And then optimize my hormones, and then help me with, dude, I had so much aches and pains in my body and I was so beat up from all the years of training. This is the healthiest and best I've ever felt. And I'm training as hard as I ever have. And it's amazing, man. And the coolest thing too is I recover a lot faster now. And my sleep is better. So I'm sleeping less per night than I ever have, but my quality of sleep is so good that I feel more rested. Like,
have you ever had one of those sleep monitors? Have you ever used one of those?
One of those what?
Sleep monitors. Where
Yeah,
I don't rate your sleep.
So one of my clients has a Whoop watch, and he's like, "Oh, I was thinking about getting one to monitor my sleep, right?"
Yeah.
And he goes, "Oh yeah, my Whoop watch says that I'm not recovered today, so I was thinking about taking the day off from training." And right then and there, I said, "That's exactly why I'm not getting a fucking Whoop watch, right? Because I am not putting myself in a world of limitations. I'm not going to put myself in that little box of like letting this digital device on my wrist tell me what I should and shouldn't do." I told him, "Dude, hey, you want to know how I got here? Not listening to my fucking Whoop watch." Right? So I said, "I'm never getting one of those. I'll go by off of how I feel." And I also think like when you're inspired, there's an element of being truly inspired and purpose driven where you won't get sick, you don't crave substances, and you don't need as much sleep. Like if you ever had a really big idea or something you were so excited about and focused on, you might have been sleeping less on those days, but you weren't getting tired. You were just driven. Like think about when kids know it's Christmas the next morning. Like they can stay up all night and they won't be tired the next day because you're so excited, right? So that's what I'm after. If I'm not feeling that way in my life, I'm like, what is off? Am I not pushing myself enough? Am I not going after big enough goals? Like what's missing? Why am I not feeling inspired? And yeah, so screw the Whoop watch. I saw that Isaiah said, how do you maintain your mindset? So your mindset is based on your daily choices. If every choice you made today made you feel proud of who you are and pushed you to be a better version of yourself, that's a huge win. Now, most people do the opposite. They break promises, they make excuses, they don't do what they said they were going to do. So subconsciously, they're creating doubt and they're lowering their self-confidence. It's just literally a formula, a math equation over time. How many decisions have you made in the last 24 hours 7 days, 30 days, 365 days that are moving you towards your ideal best self in your health and fitness, in your relationships, in your business. It's that intentionality and that focus that'll change your life, right? And so for me, it's all about doing things every day that make me feel proud of myself. Get up early, that's a win. Read my book, that's a win. Do my journaling, that's a win. Go crush a workout, that's a win. Drink my gallon of water, that's a win. Eat my calories and the right meals, that's a win. Spend time with my family, that's a win. You know, make sales, put out content. Like, you just start stacking up those wins. And before long, your subconscious mind's like, dude, I'm a freaking winner. I have momentum. I'm going after what I want. And you just change your whole paradigm.
You got to keep promises to yourself.
You got to, dude. Like, every day, do as many things that genuinely make you proud of yourself as you can. Not like from an egotistical standpoint, not like genuinely proud of yourself, to the point where, this is one I share too. I might have shared this at the summit last year, but imagine that a camera crew is following you around every day, Isaiah. And imagine they were going to broadcast your life on the evening news tonight, 6 p.m. The whole world's going to see you, all your family, colleagues, friends, everybody. Would you be excited about that and be like, dude, texting people, hey, 6 p.m., put on channel 5, I'm going to be on the news? Would you tell the whole world? Would you like put a mass text out and post it on Facebook? Or do you be like, holy shit, I hope the cable goes out. Like, I hope something happens. Like, I don't want anyone to see the way I live today. It's that right there. You need to be so excited, so fired up about what you're doing that you want the whole world to know about it. That's how you create real success, man, because what you're saying is, damn, like, I'm proud of myself. I'm doing what I love. Like you're not holding back. You're not making excuses.
Zachary's got a question there. He says, hey, Sean, do you believe in any of the food sensitivity tests?
Well, I didn't used to. I didn't used to until I got my blood test done and found out that I don't do well with gluten. You know, gluten for me was creating inflammation. It was creating bloating. I had a lot of aches and pains in my shoulders and my body, and I thought it was just from overtraining, but it was because I was so inflamed. So yeah, when you do the blood work, you get very clear on what is the best nutrition for your body, your blood type, and it makes a huge difference over time if you have that focus.
Yeah, I've cut the gluten out ever since that test, and I feel better, a lot better. Before I had these, now and then I'd like lay in bed and my hips would ache. And I don't know if it was from the low estrogen because my estrogen was low, or if it was from gluten, but I just don't ache anymore.
Yeah. And are you taking BPC 157?
Yeah.
Yeah. That peptide helps so much with aches and pains and the inflammation. You know, supplements, the word supplement means in addition to. So supplements are never going to be like the number one thing that helps you. Usually it's a combination of stuff, right? So you got to eat properly. You got to stay hydrated. You want to work out. You want to prioritize sleep. But then the supplements can really help take everything to the next level. So peptides, the right daily multivitamins and supplements like fish oil, vitamin D, vitamin C, all that stuff. And then there's next levels as far as performance goes over time.
So Zachary's got another question. Which test would you recommend includes blood work, or do you just go to your doctor? I mean, I went to 365.
Yeah, Tim did his blood work with us, and it's the most in-depth blood test I've ever seen. It measures over 220 biomarkers. So you measure everything you can imagine: heart health, liver health, how well your cells are absorbing nutrients, things like what you might be sensitive to as far as nutrition goes. The cool thing too is we have a dietitian on staff for my company, Unstoppable 365, that works hand in hand with our clients. And so when you do the blood work and we have the results, now you can start to determine what foods you should avoid, what foods you do better to consume, what are you deficient in. Like, you get an actual blueprint for what Zach needs, what Tim needs, not these cookie cutter programs that are out there. You know, like, I love Gary Brecka and 10X Health, but their program's so cookie cutter. I did that 2 years ago, and me and my wife got the same damn results back. And they said, here, both you guys take the same supplements. I'm like, what? Like, that's not specific to what I need. When I did a test with Dr. J, my team member, and my wife did it, we got completely different results back and a completely different protocol. Like,
and you can't,
she's a woman. We should have different.
You can't find anyone doing what you're doing. Like 220 things that you're testing for. That's just huge. That's really hard to find. Huge.
And here's the thing too, the interpretation of the results and data is so important. Most doctors, they address symptoms and they don't look at gut health. The thing I love about Dr. J is he understands your gut health is really the epicenter of all of your health. Everything's tied to your gut health. So he's all about getting clear on what is the root cause of your issues and what do we have to do to remedy them, and then what do we have to do to get you that next level of performance. So yeah, Grant's working with us too. Zach, Tim is. If you want the link, I can get it to you to do the blood test, or you can reach out to me on Facebook, whatever's best for you. You can shoot me a message right now in the DMs. Just say, hey, I saw you on the live with Tim, and I'm interested in the blood test. We'll go from there.
Yeah, I highly recommend it. I feel 100% better. And you don't know what you don't know. Like, I had no idea I was allergic to gluten or I had vitamin deficiencies, and you just don't know what you don't know. And I ate good. I haven't had sugar in years. I'm conscious of what I've eaten, and I still had deficiencies. And correct me if I'm wrong. Doesn't gut health have a lot to do with brain health?
Well, yeah. I mean, 80% of the neurotransmitter. Well, here's the thing: 80% of your immune system is located in your gut, right? So that's why your gut health is so important, getting sick and longevity. And then roughly 70 to 80% of the neurotransmitters that your brain creates, things like dopamine, serotonin, the way you feel, like the way you're operating, derived from your gut health. And that's why so many people battle with mental health nowadays, because of the food they're eating, the toxins in the environment, the freaking shampoo they're using. Like, let's be honest, we're being poisoned in a lot of different ways, whether it was intended or not. Like, everything you do pretty much has a negative consequence over time. Like, you got to be careful about the water you're showering with, the water you drink. Like,
I just bought a filter this week. I got to
install it. So in the food, all the food has additives and it's all processed. And over time, it damages your gut health and depletes that good gut bacteria to the point where you're super susceptible to getting sick, or it starts to affect your mental health.
Yeah, I heard something crazy. Like, I don't know if it's true, but like 80% of people have leaky gut nowadays in America.
Yeah, it might be even more than that. Dr. J told me that like 95% of people that he's tested all have leaky gut.
That's wild.
Yeah.
Huh. Cool, man. Well, if you guys want to drop grow, this is your last chance. Appreciate you coming on here today, Sean. Absolutely. I know you just told them, but what's the best way to get a hold of you? DM or?
Yeah, shoot me a DM on Facebook at 𝐶ean_𝐞𝐫, the way my name's spelled here, SEAN, and then Michael Crane. Shoot me a DM. I'll answer it today or tomorrow as soon as I get to it, and share any relevant information that you guys need.
Cool, man. Well, thanks for coming on. I'm super excited to see you at the summit. We're going to try to do it better this year. I don't know if we could top it, but we're going to try.
Yeah, dude, I'm fired up. Like I said, can't wait to just bring all the energy, connect with everybody there in person. When I'm there, if you guys want to hit a workout in the gym, grab a cigar, just talk. Like, I love being at those events and connecting with everyone there. So I'm going to roll solo this time. I wanted to bring the team out there and have a booth and everything set up. We got a lot of travel and a lot of things that are coming up, so couldn't make it with the team. But I'll be there to represent, dude, and I'm going to give everything I got, just like every time.
I'd like to work out with you when we go.
Yeah, let's do it. We'll set up a time. That gym there, from what I remember last time, was decent, so we'll go crush it.
Good deal. All right, brother. Appreciate you again.
All right, man. You guys have a good one.
See you guys.